Are you camera shy? Do you want to make video content, but the thought of being on camera freaks you out? Or has your mind convinced you that maybe you are too shy to make a video? If you said yes to those questions, you're in the right place. I was in your shoes not too long ago, being as camera shy as one can get, and thankfully I found a way to work through that shyness. In this video, I'll share some tips and suggestions that I used to overcome fear of being on camera. If you're here for the first time, my name is Kiran. I'm an author and I write about emotional resilience and wellness. And the link to my book is in the description below. Now, in the past few months, I've had many people come up to me and say, Kiran, I want to make video content, but I think I'm just too shy. And I always tell them that, you're not shy, you're just afraid. And I say that because this is exactly how my brain tricked me, telling me that I was too shy to make videos, when in actuality, I wasn't shy, but I was just afraid. Very, very afraid. And to say that I was shy was actually a very nice cover-up for my insecurities. So the very first thing that I want you to consider in overcoming fear of being on camera is that think of this fear as an overarching fear. And under this overarching fear are many other fears. So, on the surface, you might say, oh, I just have this fear of being on camera. But when you start to dig deep, what you will notice is that perhaps you also have fear of being judged, fear of failure, that you also feel fear of being seen in the world, and so on. So when I talk about overcoming fear of being on camera, what I'm really talking about is overcoming all these different fears. And how do we do that? So as a first step, make a list of all the different fears that come in your mind every time you think of making video content. And whatever those fears are, don't edit them, just write them exactly how they sound in your head. And if you say, Kiran, I can't think of any fear, then make a list of things that come up for you every time you turn on the camera to make a video. Like, do you feel anxious, or do you just freeze in front of the camera, or do you get a headache? Whatever that is, just write it down. So I remember, when I started making this list, I remember writing every single time I turn on the camera to make a video, I just go blank. Like, I freeze in front of the camera. I get a full-on panic attack and words just don't come out of my mouth. When I made this list, it was the first time that I really understood and got present to how fear was manifesting for me. And the next thing I did was to just acknowledge it without any judgment. Like totally acknowledging that yes, I do freeze in front of camera without any judgment. Yes, I do feel this way. Because when you don't judge something and you just accept it for what it is so much easier to work through it. And eventually I got to a point where I was able to see the underlying fears that were driving this behavior. So some of my top fears were fear of what people will say, fear of being judged, fear that people may not like what I have to say, and fear of being persecuted. And again, instead of running away from these fears, I started acknowledging them. And the way I did that was I started sharing with friends and family members how these fears would come up every single time that I make videos. And what happened next was, the more I talked about these fears, surprisingly enough, the less I was stopped by them. It's like when you're ashamed of something and you put it on a petri dish, you douse it with empathy, that thing no longer has a hold on you. And I always feel that something very similar happened with my fears. So I would really invite you, to make this list of all the fears that come up for you and be really honest with yourself, because that's the only way you'll get to the other side of things. In the description below, I'll put a link to some of the top fears that show up for majority of people. Go through that list, see if any of those fears resonate with you, and then add it to your list. The second thing I want to suggest is that as you are working through your fears, start taking baby steps. Like, don't let your mind tell you, oh, you need to overcome all your fears and only then you can move forward. No, don't fall for that trap. So let's say your goal is to make 10-minute long videos. Start with 10 seconds or maybe 30-second video and then slowly increase. You know, the thing is, when you are overcoming fear and on day one you say, I want to make 10-minute long video, you're just going to overwhelm your system. So appreciate baby steps and take them whenever you can. Another suggestion when you're just starting out is consider sharing your videos with friends and family members that you know will always encourage you and give you honest feedback. So when I started making my 30-second long videos, you know, I shared them with a select group of people. And when I got positive feedback from all of them, I just knew I had to keep going. Another suggestion for overcoming fear of being on camera is that you really take a moment to connect with your why. Like, ask yourself, why do I want to make videos? Because if your message matters to you and you want to broadcast it to the entire world, you will find a way to overcome your fears. The bigger your why, the easier it will be to get on the other side of fear. So as a suggestion, don't make it about yourself. The best advice that I could give you is make your message matter. Think of all the people that will benefit from your work and really lean into that intention. So as an example, my why is to empower women around the world. And every single time fear showed up for me, I would think about my why, I would really connect with my why, and it would help me stay present. What is your why in making videos? I would love to hear from you in the comments below. The next suggestion that I have for you is that you get comfortable being vulnerable. You know, the truth is that there is no guarantee on how your work will be received. You know, putting yourself and your work into the world is scary because none of us wants to be judged or criticized. We all want to be accepted. We all want to be loved. That's a basic core human need. But you know, when you do something with all your heart and soul, with a desire to make a difference in someone's life and really lean into that intention, trust me, you will not be stopped by your fears. I hope these suggestions were helpful. Please only take what resonates, discard the rest. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day.